Hello, and welcome to the DC Overlord channel. We're going to be starting a series where we're going to be fan casting for specific films coming forward in the DC universe. Either they're announced that they're going to be happening, or I'm going to predict some down the future and kind of cast for specific films. So, we're going to start with Superman Legacy because that's the first project of the DCU, 2025, July, and it's going to be our first chance to really cast people into a role and have them last for presumably a decade or two. So these are the people that I chose based on the descriptions and the ages that I think that they're going to be. So, starting off with, of course, the man himself, Superman. I kind of went through a few different options, but I definitely think this one of the options is the stronger choice, and that is Wolfgang Novogratz. First of all, Wolfgang Novogratz is going to be probably about 27 by the time he plays Superman. So he's right at the age where he's going to be mature, but he's not going to be too old. He can still play a younger Superman and still look the part and feel the part and also act as well. I think that's a very important part, is that no matter how he looks, that he can act as well. So that's what I tried to consider while making my decisions. Then we have Lois Lane, who I think would actually be great if... Oh, sorry. Jimmy's first. Jimmy is first, yes. Okay, so Jimmy Olsen should be younger. Should be younger than Clark. I always feel like it's kind of weird when he looks like an actual adult and he sometimes looks older than the Superman. I feel like Jimmy has always been kind of like the younger guy, the nerdy guy, and I would go with Montana Jordan. He was in Young Sheldon. He did a good job there. And I think he actually looks like Jimmy Olsen, and you could even just touch up his hair a little bit if you want to make him a redhead. But I definitely think Montana Jordan is a good pick and really fits the description of what Jimmy's supposed to be. Then I would go with Lois Lane, Nina Dobrev as Lois Lane. That might be an unpopular decision. I always think that Lois should be older than Clark, just because she carries herself a lot more mature. Not significantly older, but I mean, they'll still be in the same range. Nina is like in her low 30s, I think, at this point. And she honestly would embody kind of a more unique, comic book accurate version of Lois Lane. I know we've had like the Margot Kidder kind of copies, lookalikes, for a while, and I'm not opposed to that. I think we need a new take on what Lois Lane is supposed to be, and I think Nina Dobrev would be able to deliver that as well. And I feel like she would be able to play the part of kind of the military brunt, kind of child sort of role. She's a great actress. She's been in a few different projects, and definitely think that she would be able to do the part, and also be of a similar age to Novogratz. And then we would have Boris Kodjoe as Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor has always been kind of a biracial character. Sometimes people don't notice, but he has been biracial in a couple of iterations, including in Superman the Animated Series. And so I definitely think that Kodjoe will be able to play kind of a biracial Lex. And would honestly really do a solid job. If you look at his IMDb record, he's basically just born to play Lex Luthor. And I think he would do a great job. He's not too old, but he's old enough to play a really mature Lex Luthor, which I think Lex should be a bit older than Clark and Lois. So I don't think he should be a younger guy. I don't think that he should be of similar age. I definitely think he should be older. And then we have Paula Patton as Mrs. Graves. Again, kind of going the little biracial route. I think it would make more sense to kind of compliment Kodjoe and kind of find someone that complements him. And I think Paula Patton would do that job. She's been, again, in a number of different projects, so she can act. So this isn't out of nowhere. And I definitely think she could be a really good Mercy and really give the character what it's supposed to have, that kind of spunk, that kind of sassiness kind of thing, and the second hand to Lex Luthor. Then we have Zoey Deutch as Lana Lang. At first I was considering Zoey for Lois, but she honestly gives more of a vibe that Lana would have, and I think Lana is definitely important to have in Superman. She's not always included in all of the Superman projects, but I definitely think she's important to include, especially since she's, Clark's first crush, and she's also kind of like the wrench in the whole secret identity thing, because obviously she knows that Clark is Superman most of the time. I think a lot of the time she knows. So it'd be kind of that sort of thing, and I definitely think Zoey will be able to do that role justice. Then we have Randy Coutoure as Mongul. Definitely got to be an older guy. Definitely got to be a more muscular guy. I think Randy Coutoure is the one to do it, because he's not only muscular, but he also can actually act, which is sometimes the dilemma. Is sometimes they look the part, but sometimes they can't act. I think Randy Coutoure would do a phenomenal Mongul if we were to go to Mongul direction. I think actually I would prefer the Mongul direction over the Brainiac. I think Brainiac needs to wait. I feel like doing Brainiac right away is a bit ambitious. I have been kind of on the side of doing Brainiac, but I don't know. I think going the Mongul route would be kind of interesting, especially to start out the movie with. It would be kind of surprising too. I mean, unless it's in the trailers, obviously it wouldn't be surprising there, but Then I would have Matt Barr as Metallo as John Corben. Matt Barr not only looks the part, but he can definitely play the creep, because he's played the creep in many of his roles, as well as kind of like the charming guy, a little bit charming. You might know him from One Tree Hill, if you ever watched that show. He was the Psycho Derek that was in that show. So he has range, he has great acting abilities, and he honestly would be able to be that role in the movie. I definitely think that he would be perfect for the role. It's right up his alley, and definitely his type of character. Then, John David Washington as Steel. Yes, we should set up Steel in this movie. He doesn't have to be a big role yet. He just should exist. Okay? We don't even necessarily need to know his name, but he should exist as Steel, and I definitely think it's John David Washington. I know John David Washington has been a pick for Green Lantern John Stewart, but I think he would be better as Steel, and I think there are better options for John Stewart than John David Washington. I think John David Washington would be perfect as Steel. He's got the muscular physique for it, and he's a little bit older, so he can definitely play kind of the dad bod, while still being young enough to last a few years. I definitely think that is kind of the goal, and I think John David Washington would easily be able to be Steel. And that is my fan cast for Superman Legacy. You'll notice I didn't include Brainiac in this. Honestly, I don't really know who playing Brainiac. I think it would honestly come down to the voice. But either way, I feel like focusing away from Brainiac is probably better anyways, because I think Brainiac would be actually too soon to do. I think Brainiac could be a much bigger villain down the line, so I don't think Brainiac should be the villain, although he probably will be. Those are my picks for Superman Legacy. Comment down below who you would cast. Do you agree with my cast? And who do you want to see as the main villain in Superman Legacy? Would you want it to be Brainiac? Would you want it to be Mongul? Would you want it to be Metallo or somebody else? Comment down below and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more DC content like this.